Hey you guys, my name is Jaslyn and you're with MovesU. We are back and of course you see me, we are nice and cozy here. I have two beautiful ladies here with me. I'm so blessed to be here and start this conversation. So if you were following me last year, you would know that on YouTube, we put out a men's roundtable talk to talk about mental health in the Black men's communities. Well, we're back and it's time for the ladies. So welcome to our ladies circle, y'all. I am so blessed. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Come on with the clap. Come on. One more time. So let's start out with some introductions. I want everybody to know who you beautiful ladies are. So let's start with Korynn. Let the people know who you are and how to follow you.
My name's Korynn, owner of No Originals clothing brand. You can follow me at Buy No Originals. That's BUY No Originals. That's on Instagram. I believe that's on Facebook. And the website is also buynooriginals.com. BUY NoOriginals.com.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And Miss Briona over here.
Yes, as she said, I'm Briona. I am a professional dancer, a designer, and a software developer. So I do a lot, and I'm also a mom. So yeah, that's just me.
How do they follow you, girl?
Follow me on Instagram, Easy Breezy. That is EZEEBREEZY_ Easy Breezy.
Yes. Well, thank you again for being here. Just as we did with the roundtable talk with our men, we are going to get down into some deep conversation with these women about how we go day to day with our lives as Black women in the communities pertaining to our mental health and our well-being. So just as I did with the men, the famous jar is back. And we are going to start the conversation by having you guys pull a question out of the jar, and we're just going to discuss any thoughts that you might have about the topic at hand. I just want to remind you both that this is a very safe space. I want to make sure that everything that I do, whether it's on these YouTube videos or on my MovesU Heard podcast, that we are really in a close, safe, and just raw conversation space. All right. Yes. So let's go ahead and get started. And I want Bree to pull the first question. So Bree, go ahead and grab the question, read it out loud for us, and then we're gonna get started.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. As a Black woman, how do you embody femininity? Have you been giving a space to be feminine? I love this question. I embody femininity by being vulnerable.
Okay.
And I say that because oftentimes, as a Black woman, we're supposed to be strong and independent, or that's the stereotypical idea of a Black woman, to be strong and independent, have it all together. But I've found that in my relationships, my friendships, when I'm vulnerable about what I'm going through, about just life in general, that's where I build my connections at. And it allows me to be soft. And it allows me to be, I don't have to have such a guard, such a cold heart. Like, being vulnerable just kind of warms you in a way. And then you really get to see how it connects. Like, just being feminine, we have that ability, that power to just nurture, right? So when we're able to be vulnerable and connect, we really can bring out that nurturing side of us. So it's so hard because even in like a relationship that I'm in, I'm having to be feminine and I don't know how to be.
Okay. That's a good point. So talk about that a little more.
Okay, so me not knowing how to be, it's like how can I say this? I'm used to being masculine in a sense where, of course, like I said, being strong, being independent. But now that you may have I have a spouse that I can depend on, and it's like I have to kind of let that happen in a sense. And I'm like, no.
Did you have trouble kind of letting that partner of yours take that space?
I still do. You know, that would be, you know, a challenge. And the dynamic that we have is about you need to be just a little softer. You can't control everything, you know. So I find that when I'm vulnerable, even in my relationship, that it just, I'm able to connect and nurture more. And I do it even with my son. You know, I'm always vulnerable with him. And we connect that way. So, yeah, I'm learning to be more feminine. And yes, when it's like we all want that. And then when we're presented this space, it's like, okay, now I really got to be feminine.
Now you have to be aware.
So, yes, I've been given the space, but it's like I want to be aligned with that space too. I want to be able to just coexist, be there in that space where I can be feminine and relaxed and nurtured. Because I feel like that's who I am. I am a soft person. I'm nice. I'm friendly. So it fits me. But over time, and my past has created these layers and molded me to be a little stern, a little sassy, a little attitude, you know, a little talk back. So now I have to peel those layers off.
Was it your relationship that made you realize that you didn't know how to be feminine, or did you realize it before then?
Yeah, I would say my relationship. I didn't notice before because I thought
I was gonna say, cause girl, you always looking good. You've always, as long as I've known you, you've always held a sense of class to you and a peace to you. So I commend you for the femininity you've held even before that relationship. But I think it's definitely worth, you know, thinking about as far as when was that line of realization where you might not have felt like you were in all of your femininity, you know, and even still growing into it more today.
Well, yeah, I would say as far as, like you said, my appearance and my interactions, you know, they're there, but I've been single for a minute. So I think it did show up in my relationship because now it's like I wasn't no city girl or nothing like that, but I was like dating, you know, with intentions, of course. And, you know, so I was never, but nobody really caught my eye. So I'm just being single. I'm just dating, doing my own thing. And then I realized, like, when I'm in a relationship, it's like, okay, now what you gonna do? Like, now you have to be committed. Now you have to compromise and talk things through. Well, normally I'll be out. I'm like, I don't want to do this. It's getting too hard. I don't like this, you know. So now you just, my relationship helped me realize that.
I like you to address that because the femininity within and not just the outer. Because in some ways it's easy to be feminine in the outer space, you know, but being feminine within yourself, that's a whole different.
That's how I felt too. I don't know if I always realized it. Like, my appearance could look like that, like you said, but I don't know if I've always felt that.
Or exuded. Yeah.
So,
What about you, Korynn?
I think I embody mine by breaking the mold, your standard mold. You look at me, you see one thing, you get to know me, you get another.
Okay.
So I think, you know, growing up, I wasn't always like super comfortable showing my feminine side. I always wanted to go everywhere in sweatpants and basketball shorts, sneakers and whatnot. And then like growing up and becoming more of myself, I got to figure out how to do that and still be cute and show my little personality, you know, and do all this cute stuff. But it didn't change the fact that I like sports. I like to wear my sneakers, you know, and I'm going to rock my fro. And sometimes I'd rather wear a baseball cap than do my hair. You know, I don't really like to wear makeup, you know, and maybe I prefer a whiskey over a tequila. So it's just, I think that's how I show mine, you know, like everybody, they look at me and then they're like, oh, wow, I would have never expected this. And that's what I think. I think that's how I embody mine, just being like, you know, shocking the world a little bit. You know, hey, look
there's
at me.
Two sides to you. It's It's not just one on the other. And I appreciate that too, because I think a lot of people in this day and age have one idea of femininity that thinks that it's just this one part that's acceptable by society, but you have all these other different levels to it. There's so many different personalities and so many different backgrounds for every every woman on the planet. So femininity can mean something different for everyone.
For literally
I know
everybody.
for me, like, I'm kind of similar with you in a way, and you, where I know back when everybody was watching Sierra, I wanted to be like her. I wanted to be the sexy tomboy. Okay?
Right.
That's what I was going for. And, you know, I was always in the dance studio, so I was always wearing the sweats too, the leotard, the hoodie. That's all that I had on. So I'm telling you, dance is the only reason I know how to do makeup. Like, I wouldn't have, I'm telling you, I wouldn't know how to do makeup if it wasn't for dance. And so the older I got and the more I, you know, became aware of my character and who I want to be, who I want to show up as a person, you know, I also look forward to, you know, marriage one day and being a mother. It's a challenge when I'm trying to balance everything else that I have going on. And like you said, trying to be independent, trying to be strong, to realize, oh, I have this part of myself that I need to let out, you know? Sometimes it is about giving yourself that approval, giving yourself that permission to be that. I know something big with me is self-care, and self-care goes hand in hand with femininity as well. So that I really appreciate both of what you guys had to say, because it's not just one way. You can't tell me how to be feminine. You know what I'm saying? Only I can understand how to be feminine as it pertains to me, and give myself the permission to let that evolve. I might be hard. I might be the sexy tomboy now or years ago. And then I might be completely different once I do get in a relationship or once I do become a mother. And that is okay to change.
Yep.
And as I continue to learn how to do my makeup and my hair, it's gonna get better. My glow up is still happening. I'm not there yet, y'all. I'm not there. But okay, Korynn, your turn to pick a question. What do you got?
Let's see. All right. Ooh, I like this. Are you proud of who you are right now?
Yep. Good.
So I answer it first because
yes.
Okay. I am very proud of who I am right now. I do have days, you know, sometimes, because I've just been going through a lot. As you know, I've been going through a lot of the last year and a half. So there are days where I'm kind of like, oh, I wish I were in a better headspace right now to be able to handle this better. But I'm more thankful for the journey than anything else. So I'm glad that I got this far, and I'm glad that I am who I am now. Because if I were who I was last year in the situation I'm in now, this would not be going great at all. You know, or even the year before that, it just wouldn't be going great at all. So the fact that I've done the necessary steps, even though, you know, we're not at our end goal right now, but I've done the necessary steps to get this far, I'm very proud of where I am now, because I also was a person that didn't hear anything but negative stuff growing up. It was always, you can't do that and you shouldn't do this and you need to change that and you need to change this. And I got to grow up and show them that, one, it wasn't nothing wrong with me. Y'all just need to open your minds a little bit, you know, and two, that there was still room for growth. And I recognized that I was grown enough to realize I needed to grow up. Yeah. So, you know, I feel good about it.
Let's talk about what you said real quick about how you got a lot of negativity growing up and how people try to put this thing on you about, you need to change this, you need to change that. I want to dive a little deeper in that as far as our community, our culture, and how we're brought up. How do you feel about those instances where people were telling you a certain way to live or a certain way to act or a certain way to look? Like, what does that look like for you in our community?
It's like the same way you said, you can't tell me how to be feminine. You can't tell me how to be black. You can't tell me how to be a young black girl. You can't tell me how to be me. Yeah. Point blank and period. And I grew up in a household that I'm sure is very familiar to a lot of other black girls where, you know, they want you to be a certain way to beat a certain type of adversity that they dealt with in their lifetime. Not realizing that our adversity is a little bit different. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what it was. It was a lot of our parents grew up in a time where they had to be complacent to society in order to survive because, you know, color issues and like the bigger gender issues, all that stuff, things that we deal with now that were way worse back then. You know what I mean? And they don't take into account the leeway we have gained so far. And granted, you know, we kind of are backtracking now, but in those times where we were growing up, those times where we were children, teenagers, I feel like we were held to standards that didn't apply to the time we were in. And it affected us in a negative way. It's like being boxed in. Like, I don't understand why I had to grow up and go to college to be able to find out that being myself was okay. And I know I'm not the only one. I know plenty of my Black sisters dealt with the same thing, you know, and I just, even now at this age, you know, we have these conversations amongst our friends, and I feel like we're all just having the same conversation, that we grew up in households where it was do this to appease, and I hate to bring this up, but do this to appease the white person in America. Yeah. You live your whole life to appease the white person in America, and look where it got us. Pissed off, mad at our parents. We beefing with our parents every day. It just doesn't make sense. Like, we should not be beefing with people we love this hard. Yeah. But the difference is they can't let go of the things that we're not willing to accept from them. It's just...
Yeah, some people have like mindsets, especially from the older generation, that our struggle should be the same. Yeah. And I think that is very unhealthy as a mindset, because ideally, when you think of having a legacy or, you know, children and things like that, you want their life to be so much more easier than yours. But I think coming from a trauma standpoint, they only know what they know, and they aren't willing to look outside of that. So if they're seeing something different, they kind of go against that, or they think you're not doing the right thing just to get where they are. They don't necessarily see you getting to a different area or even surpassing them. That's definitely and then sometimes we deal with parental jealousy. If we really being real, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, and that could be big on a mother-daughter standpoint. Oh, yeah. I'm blessed to say that I haven't been in that situation, but I can definitely understand that exists. And that's really hard. And it says a lot as to exactly why I want to create spaces like this to talk about our mental health. Because I know for a fact, like, especially our parents, their generation didn't do this. So only imagine what it would look like in the future as we're talking to our children. And instead of trying to make sure they do the same exact thing to get exactly where we are, we're helping them cultivate a way where they can do what they want to do and be who they are, and not just go with the status quo.
Yeah. You know, you're right. I think because even as a mom, I get caught up in that too. Like, oh, you kids have it easy, you know, and just want to give them that experience, because, like, us millennials, we have the best of both worlds, you know. We had to go outside and play, but then, you know, here come MySpace and stuff. So we know what it's like to be out. Oh, you gotta be in before the street lights and all that stuff. But we also understand the technology, the digital age. But now, even with my son, it's just all digital. Yeah. It's like, and then, you know, you have that phase where you're like, oh, I want my child to go out and make friends, but I'm afraid gonna get kidnapped, you know, because it's just so much going on. But I just really realized that it takes for me to unlearn some things that my mom taught me as a parent. And that's where I think that, you know, our parents' generation aren't willing to unlearn. And we are willing to unlearn to make sure that, like you said, our kids have a better future. So that's the process that I think I am now with parenting, because there's no real book for this. Yeah, like, right. Parenting, there's no book that will tell you how to do it. So I think even on that note, for me, what I've learned, that I just have to unlearn how I was raised. In some aspects it was good, some aspects it's not. Learn when to balance, learn where to put it.
That was a big point that we also talked about when we talked about the mental health of Black men unlearning things that their society taught them. Because literally all of that comes from what society has taught them. A lot of them didn't get the room to be who they are. They were just automatically told, this is what you're supposed to do, this is how you're supposed to act, you know? So it's big with unlearning. I appreciate you saying that as well.
Yeah, that's something that's not talked about enough.
Yeah, for sure. So before we wrap up this part, I meant to ask you guys this in the beginning, but tell me how you are right now. Like, mentally, like, how you feeling, like, in this moment?
I feel like, do you want to go first?
Go ahead.
I feel like I am in my cocoon phase.
Okay.
Oh, I'm excited. Y'all know I work myself like a dog.
Yeah.
I do the most. I have a new idea every week. And y'all also know I've been taking a long break.
Mm-hmm.
And this break is going to get longer. But that's only because I have a plan. You know, once this plan is over with, we're blossoming, we're becoming that butterfly. So this cocoon phase, I'm very excited for, where I'm just keeping to myself and just reordering myself, reordering my steps, talking to God, listening to God. Oh, Lord, that's the biggest part.
Yeah.
Okay, keeping myself in check and setting up a plan for when I come out of my break. Because once I come out of this break, it's right back to normal.
Awesome. That's so good.
We rolling.
And then real quick, how you doing?
I feel the same. I feel sound in my decisions that I've been making. I've been taking a break. I haven't been dancing. I haven't been on social media as much. I've just been dibbling dabbling. And I felt like I was trying to find my pace. I've got knocked off my journey. So I've been trying to find my pace, get back on it. So I really feel motivated right now. I'm planning, I'm organizing, I'm getting my steps in order for the next few months. You know, it's like Q1 it's like, we're a rough patch for me. So Q2 through 4 can be excellent, So I think that's where I am. But I'm sound and I'm at peace and I feel good. I have a lot of faith right now.
That's good.
So that's what I trust right now, my faith. I'm happy.
Good. Yeah. Well, that's great. And we're going to keep on going in faith because y'all know I need it. But we're going to wrap up this round right now. So thank you guys again for coming to the Lady Circle. I'm so blessed to have you. And we'll be back with another group of beautiful ladies in just a moment. Talk to y'all soon. All right. When I tell y'all.